Wow, that's one video within a week of posting the last one. That's kind of got to be a record for us. I think the last one was like 5 months between videos. In the last video, if you missed it, I fixed my PC so that I can now actually ingest footage correctly from Premiere, and we're back to making content again. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that little bell, otherwise I'm going to rehome my cat. Speaking of being subscribed though, and it has nothing to do with it, I want to give a shout out to Swarf Random for leaving a comment on one of our previous videos. Thanks so much, man. If you could hit us up in an email, just with a screenshot of your logged in profile on YouTube, you can find our email address in the About Us tab on YouTube. And if anyone else wants to be in the draw to win another Steam code, just leave a comment on this video or one of our previous ones. It won't really matter, it's just whatever the most recent comments are. And we'll pick one for the next video. Today though, we have something kind of cool to play with. Razer's finally decided that we are worthy of getting their gear sent through to us, so we have the new Razer turret for Xbox One and PC to review. The review is up on the Insatiable Gamer already, so if you haven't checked that out, you can click in the link below. This is the new turret. It's designed for Xbox One and PC with a really strong emphasis on gaming. It even has an Xbox button, like right there, but it is nice and capable for all things other than gaming as well. Initially, I'll admit, I was like a little bit skeptical about this one. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the original turret. It didn't really hit the mark for me. If you'd ever used the old turret, I think you'll understand where I'm coming from when I say it was kind of just another wireless keyboard and mouse combo. There wasn't really too much special about it other than it had a dock and it looked really nice set up on your TV. I mean, it was cool, it was compact, it had some nice to haves for gaming, but it always kind of felt like half a package. The wireless wasn't that great on it, the tracking on the mouse was kind of average. I believe it had like a 3200 DPI sensor, I'm not 100% on that. And the chiclet keys were kind of enough to turn me off anyway. The main thing that really pissed me off about it was the mouse pad, where it would fold away and so you could dock it and charge it. Like, cool idea, like disguising that. But the problem was it wasn't overly adaptable for use on a desk. It was kind of just designed for your lap, which is fine, I guess, for the, you know, it fills that niche where all you want is something in reach on the couch and you can use it straight away. But having that dual purpose and being able to use it on a desk with another mouse is kind of handy. Now though, this iteration of the turret is a huge improvement over that. It's so different that it almost warrants a different name. They've stuck with turret, which, cool. The same concepts there, wireless gaming in a remote location, but this time it's got a bit more of a premium spin. The new Razer turret is super sturdy. It's got a full metal case this time. It's also got a really large rubberized mat on the bottom of it. This kind of serves two purposes for me. When it's on a desk, you can put it down and try and push it, it just won't move, which is awesome for when you're playing a game and you're kind of getting a wee bit too involved and your hand starts to slide. The keyboard stays in place, which is really cool. The other plus to it is that it cushions your legs, so when it's sitting on your lap, on the couch or something like that, you don't have that metal chassis digging into your side. It is pretty heavy and it weighs in at around 1.85 kilos. So those metal edges kind of, as much as they may be dull on the side, they kind of might dig in a wee bit more. So I'm thankful there's a nice rubberized grip at least. As the frame's full metal, there's absolutely no flex when you're trying to twist it. This eliminates all of that trampolining effect that you get when you're trying to type and if you're getting a wee bit aggressive with your typing, and that works on all surfaces, so whether it's on the desk or on your lap. Add in the standard double shot keycaps and Razer switches and you've got yourself a really durable product that's going to outlast anything else on the market similar. As for the mousepad, Razer's opted for a slide away mousepad. For that, I applaud them. It's perfect. The mechanism itself is really, really smooth. It feels really nice and solid to pull it out. I keep going on about durability, but this thing is really hard wearing. Which is something it needs to be for something designed to be taken throughout the house and moved around quite a lot. You can extend the mouse pad fully or you can extend it half. I'm not really sure why it extends half. One perk is that it acts as like a really nice guide for the mouse if you just need to do vertical movement, I guess, I don't know. The other thing is the gap between the keyboard and the mouse is really nice as well. So it's a comfortable position where it's my shoulder width apart for holding the mouse and the keyboard, which is perfect for playing games. I'm not feeling like I'm overextending myself and I'm not feeling too cramped. As far as the surface space on the mouse is concerned, it's definitely going to be smaller than if you're sitting at your desk where you can kind of spread out a bit more with a big mouse mat. but this is perfectly fine for me on the couch. Even playing things like Fortnite on Xbox, it was totally sweet. The only real negative that I found with the keys themselves is that they are slightly angled backwards and the wrist rest isn't that great. What I would have loved to see is if they had some feet on the back of the keyboard that could elevate it when being used on a desk. I find myself when I'm typing, I have to prop it up on something for me to be nice and comfortable. So it's advertised as having an ergonomic wrist rest, but I kind of would disagree there. I find it really uncomfortable for prolonged typing if it's just flat on a surface. I found myself getting fatigued a lot faster with this one than I would with my other keyboard. But in saying that, I feel like there's a little bit of a trade-off there, as the style and slope on the keys are perfect when you're sitting on the couch. I think it's just one of those things where you can't have the best of both worlds. Perfection on a desk and perfection on a couch. So they've kind of hit a middle ground there, favoring slightly towards more the couch play. Another improvement over the old turret is that this one comes with fully individually addressable RGB keys plus remappable keys, which is awesome. You can do it all through the Synapse software that Razer pops out, which is some of the best software for customizing keyboards and colors that I've ever used. It's super easy and straightforward. They've kind of taken a stance where you shouldn't have to spend 3 hours like customizing your keyboard to your layout and your play style. It's really, really simple. I'd say a close second to that would be SteelSeries with theirs. Theirs is really nice too, but there's some other brands that really need to sort their shit out because the software that's included with devices is fucking useless. Oh yeah, it has dynamic lighting on Xbox as well, which is kind of cool. There's a list of compatible games on the Razer website. You can see which ones are compatible with the mouse and keyboard plus the chroma support. Okay, so let's talk about the mouse for a little bit. If you've ever used the Razer Mamba, the wireless mouse that they sell, then you're kind of in for a treat. It shares the exact same sculpted body, it's got the same feel to it, the same textured finish. It also has the latest 5G 1600 DPI sensor, as well as some additional RGB lighting that the Mamba doesn't have. The mouse will typically run you around 50 hours of battery life if you have the lighting disabled, and they state that it's 30 hours with the lighting enabled. In practice, this was something I found that didn't quite line up. I found myself getting around 15 hours to 35 hours, which is a really, really wide range, and that was with lighting enabled as well. I found it's been a wee bit more consistent when the lighting was disabled. I do get around that 50-hour mark, but yeah, it kind of jumps up and down a little bit. I guess it sort of depends on the workload you're putting through it. I was doing a lot of productivity and gaming after work as well. But look, it's pretty much the Mamba Wireless, and that is in no way a bad thing. The Mamba Wireless is a brilliant mouse. It's really well suited to my grip style. Again, it has the 7 individually programmable buttons. So the bottom of the mouse and the mouse pad itself is slightly magnetic, similar to the old turret as well. This time though, the finish on the mouse pad is really quite nice. It feels kind of matte to the touch, but the mouse glides really nicely over it, but it tracks really, really nicely. I noticed no interference when I was either sitting at my desk or on the couch. The wireless router is right above me and there's a lot of electrical interference in this room. But yeah, it was flawless. The tracking issues were totally gone from the old turret. The horizontal resistance itself is actually really negligible. It's more of a vertical resistance. Moving the mouse and things, you aren't really restricted by it, and you probably won't notice it. I'm not typically a fan of the hard mouse surface. I prefer a fabric mouse pad. In this case, I will make an exception. It's really well suited to what it is. Being able to sit on the couch and have it nice and rigid for accurate tracking was a real bonus. In 2019, there are a lot of options when it comes to those lap style keyboard configurations. This is the first one with native support for Xbox One out of the box. Plus, it's also not really reinventing the wheel. They haven't over-designed and complicated things like the original turret. It's not some bulky thing sculpted to your leg like the Couchmaster Psycon, I think it's called. You don't need those fancy enclosures. The Corsair Lapdog, which has some partial disassembly required if you want to use it separately. With this one, you just kind of slide the mouse pad in and you put it on your desk and you're sweet. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a more versatile wireless keyboard and mouse combo with the same attention to detail that this one has. The flexibility and feature set though does kind of come at a premium. It's by no means a budget alternative. Are you sick of being pwned by noobs using your regular Xbox controller? Does your standard keyboard and mouse combo suck? Then you need the new Razer Turret. Designed specifically for PC and Xbox One. Now not really available in New Zealand.
Stockists coming soon.
It's yet to become super widely available in New Zealand, but you can find it on the Australian Microsoft Store and JB Hi-Fi in Australia. It comes to around $249.99 US. It's currently listed on the Australian JB Hi-Fi for $429, as the same on the Microsoft Store. I think on the Microsoft Store you pay 95 cents extra. So including shipping and converting to New Zealand dollars, you're probably looking at around $450 to $470 for this kit. That may seem like a lot, but when you think about what you get out of it and the components that are in there, for a standard high-end mechanical keyboard, you're probably going to be looking at around $229 New Zealand dollars, and that's going to be one that's wired, not wireless. Add in a Razer Mamba, which will run you about $175, and you're already up to around $229 plus 79. Let's go 79. I think it's 179 for the Mamba. It's 179 for the Mamba, so that would bring your total to $408 for the two. Holy shit. That was too hard. But that doesn't even factor in the fact that there's R&D involved with sliding mouse pads and battery packs and all that kind of shit, and you get a low latency wireless keyboard and mouse. It kind of actually seems worth it when you think about it that way, especially for something that's going to hit that two birds, one stone mark there, where you can use it on a desk and on the couch or in bed. I think a really good test and indication to whether this is a good product to recommend is basically, if it was to go missing from my life right now, let's say someone stole it, or I don't know, Michael visited and borrowed it, which is kind of the same thing. Would I buy another one to replace it? And that's a really easy answer, because it's yes. I really like how versatile this is. I can sit in bed and either play a game or boot up my computer remotely. NVIDIA Shield is awesome as well with it. If you have an NVIDIA Shield, you can kind of take your entire PC Master Race experience and put it anywhere in your house. Game stream with this, perfect. Maybe you're just after a premium wireless keyboard set, which this definitely does. Fold away mousepad for if you're, pop-up office somewhere else, if you're working at a cafe or something. It still fits in my bag, which is nice. It is a little bit more bulky than the old Razer turret, which I will say, but you know what? I don't care if something's heavy on my back, as long as it's good and it's good to use. I am really glad that we got to take a look at this. I'm really happy with the product. I think it's actually a really good purchase if you are in the market for something like this. But that's going to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. If you comment, you might win a game. Next week. Next video. Don't say week. I'm optimistic. I might do a video next week. I'll try and do a video next week. It won't be 5 months away.